Hello everyone, my name is Brian Jennings. I'm seeing more activity on the channel, right? Welcome to the channel, the Critical Sorcerer, the Millennial Dragon, right? This channel exists to discuss in the open air my fucked up relationship with Quentin Tarantino, right? Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant who practices base sorcery, right? And so I'm the critical sorcerer, right? Because magic is done in the light, right? We're bringing the conversation out into the open, right? I am the reason that Quentin canceled his film, The Movie Critic, last April, right? As a result of an essay that I wrote, as well as 3 film reviews. It's a movie about a guy who reviews movies. I'm not gonna go on and on, right? But that set in motion a series of events that led to where we are now. And so I created this channel because it seems obvious that he's hell-bent on us keeping a very sick psychological standard for both of us, right? That he has created a condition where we both exist as psychic phantoms in the other's mind, right? And so, right, I'll refer you to any number of my videos that I made previously. This is the second video that I've made today. And having rewatched the first one, I'll say that that was perhaps one of the best ones I've ever made. Though my mother's observation was that I seemed angry. I was running hot. I was hot-blooded in that one, right? But everything that I'm talking about, right, it's really important that we discuss it in the light of day, right? That's why I do everything that I do, right? I profane nothing, right? I betray no order, I betray no master, right? I have the right to talk about it because I'm living it, right? Did I say some salacious shit about the president of the Burbank International Film Festival? Yeah, sure. Right? And that's not a threat. That's not a threat to possess her mind. Right? With my mind, that's a guarantee, right? That you want to venerate Quentin Tarantino, right? Therefore, you give me permission to behave like him towards you, right? So, it's my hope that people are hearing the pages, right? The novel is really good right now. It's like the pages are really good. And it's my hope that people are hearing the pages and saying, wow, this is really, it's a complicated story. This is obviously, there's more to the story than what Quentin has led the public to believe, which is nothing beyond that he's a peculiar artist, right? That's all he would have you believe, right? And if he had produced a non-disclosure agreement and paid me for my scene, right, then that would be the truth. That would be the whole story. That I'm a weird guy who was a pain in his ass, right? And that would have been my story, right? Rather than do that, rather than be reasonable, right? He decided to try to use his mind, him and the people around him, to compel me to madness and suicide, and that's why we're here now. Because he's failed. And so now all he can do is be palpably evil, right? Which is why we're talking about it. I'll say that for people that are just now finding the channel, right? I read a really nice comment from a girl, I think her name was Jen, that she subscribed to the channel as soon as she read the description, and that she was excited about watching everything from the beginning. She commented on the first video. And so that's great. That's exciting. It's a journey of discovery. It's a lot, right? And so the verbiage has changed maybe, but the message has always been the same in all of the videos. And what I'll say to people is that if you're just coming to the channel and you say, oh, where do I begin because it's so much, and it is, it's like 170 videos now, you know. If you watch the long videos, right? If you start at the beginning and start with the first episode and just go up and watch all of the videos, watch nothing but the videos that are like half an hour, right? Or 20 minutes, but essentially from 20 minutes up, right? And they'll always be structured Quentin Tarantino, the movie critic, the real story, building a coven, 1, right? Building a Coven 2, right? And so, again, right, it's described in the description of the channel, right? That I'll introduce the channel, I'll talk about the mission statement of the channel, then I'll do a reading from the novel, then we'll talk about the nature of reality, how Quentin does what he does, how I do what I do, how our relationship is perpetuated, right? And how anyone can do these things, that he's not actually clever or wise. And I look forward to hearing what more people have to say. I always get self-conscious when I see notifications because usually that means comments. And the last comment that I read said something about mental health, and that's fine. That's fine. I know that I'm a particular frequency. Much almost like me and Quentin Tarantino are alike in a lot of ways, right? But my point is that, right, I said it in my last video, and it's always been true. Wisdom appears as madness to the uninitiated, right? That I don't have to, like, social graces are bullshit, right? Fame is bullshit, right? If I cared about money or fame, right, I would have given Quentin what he wanted. Man, he got what he wanted, right? Because he's a base, degenerate man, right? He wanted to hold court in my mind, right? These are the games that he plays with his actors, right? And so, right, he got what he wanted because he has no boundaries. He doesn't respect anyone. And anyone who willingly allows him to hold court in their mind in the way that he doesn't respect themselves at all, right? So who's that? That's, a lot of names, isn't it? John Travolta, right? Bruce Willis, right? Ving Rhames, right? Michael Madsen, right? Uma Thurman. I just go all the way through his films. I'm not going to do that, but you see what I'm saying, right? These are the games that he plays, right? And I suspect they're all, like the people that work for the Burbank Film Festival, ignorant of sin and understand nothing, right? But I know what it is, right? And so, right, when he stuck his nose up in my letter, right, the voice inside of me, that's God, said, oh no, this is an exercise in power. This has nothing to do with writing. This has nothing to do with love, right? That he's like living in his brain. He's not living in his heart. That he's trying to control my mind, right? With subtle bullshit, right? Mentalism, occultism, right? And so, right, he turned his back on me. I turned my back on him. Right? He can direct me as a director. Right? He can look me in the eye and say, I'd like you to consider trying it this way. Right? But rather than do that, right, he wanted to be a telepath. Right? And you see the board? Right? I'm the strongest clairvoyant of the millennial generation. 100%. Right? Anyone who says otherwise, right, they have no claim. Right? So now, right, me and Quentin, right, I'm talking about it now because it's just ugly. It's just this ugly, evil thing, right? And so this channel exists because I've tried to go to everyone that's around him. William Morris Endeavor insulates his evil, supports his evil. The Jam Band Fish insulates and supports his evil, right? The Discovery Institute insulates and supports his evil. David Mamet insulates and supports his evil. Right? Right? Claire Berlinski of the Cosmopolitan Globalist is a hack who doesn't care about journalistic integrity. Right? Right? Paul Schrader insulates and supports his evil. Martin Scorsese insulates and supports his evil. Right? And that's not an exhaustive list, right? But we're talking about the novel, right? We're talking about the nature of reality, right? I'm in the middle of the rhapsody now, right? That when I was on this journey, right, in terms of where I'm reading now, about a truck stop in Memphis, right, that I wrote 200 pages in maybe 5 days, right? It was just a rhapsodic fervor of, right, ecstasy, right? And again, right, It's all bullshit, right? There is no daughter, right? Trey never gave a fuck about me playing Hamlet, right? His daughter Eliza never cared about playing Ophelia to my Hamlet, right? It was all an elaborate ruse, right? To compel me to madness, to compel me to blow my brains out. When he could have just said, "No, dude, you blew it. You're so cool. Here, this is for your scene. You signed this non-disclosure agreement, and you go play Hamlet in Honolulu." Right? But rather than do that, right, it's gotten to where it is now, right? And so I'll pick up where I left off. I am so exhausted. I am going to try to sleep. I have prayed often tonight, and I have always been reminded, often as we all sob, that they're all with me. And so to close the book on today, I'll say once more, Heavenly Father, watch over me and protect me with your grace. Amen. Just shy of 2 a.m., I was awakened by the security. Just me, not the couple 5 feet from me, awkwardly occupying far more space. I took a jaunt out to the southwestern semi-entrance and exit. Got pissed off because there's nothing dry or level to lay on, though I spotted wild turkey tail mushrooms. They likely have a hardy, robust immune system which will vivify whomever consumes them, and made my way back to where I was, which is where I am, which is where these two budged from. I was plagued by diseased visions in my dreamscape from Willow, a baby, I believe a little boy. I know it was her because the child looked distressed, because she is a child, and therefore cannot understand herself. I only see happy babies in my mind's eye. I mean, they cry, I sing, they smile. Only happy babies, miserable witch. I keep thinking of potential conversations of people who might help me, and I'm at a loss. There is no one. I have sacrificed everything except my life, except my life, except my life. Not that I had friends before. I'm an alien, and so I've become a one-off. I am assured, not anymore. I'll attempt once more to sleep through the witching hours. Hopefully I can make it to 5 a.m. with no trouble. I awoke just shy of 6 a.m. on the side of Love's. Was up and preparing to leave just as the security guard woke up the other guy. His girlfriend is probably smoking meth and fucking a drug dealer, if I was a gambling man. The security guard asked me if I was going to be okay, baby. As a nice woman gave me 2 cigarettes. I would guess she pitied me when she saw me sifting through the ashtray right next to the sleeping bum. Though I knew there was nothing there. I pilfered the multitude last night, multiple times, looking for smokable pieces. Real rock bottom shit. The lowest condition of civilized man. I bought a small bottle of water, walked to the I-240 Eastern Access ramp, and stuck my thumb out for roughly 1 hour to no avail. Thereafter, I decided to come back here to the Greyhound station I arrived in Memphis last night. And now, upon arrival, I marvel at the 20 miles I hiked with 20-plus pound bag in 12 hours. Up to 15 hours, but no more. I got off the bus at 4 or thereabouts. Walked the 3 hours, 10 miles to Love's. Slept like shit on concrete until 6 a.m. And by 7 I started walking the 3 hours, 10 miles back. And now I've been here maybe 20 minutes. The time is 11:02. The walk and the day thus far yielded great psychic discourse spanning the globe. Of course, Alistair, Annabella, Clay, Hugh, Lisa, Willow are always with me. Always. But David Zelinsky popped in from Paris, so LA, NYC, Paris, simultaneous, collapsed into my psychic mind palace, or rather, my palace is as wide as the universe. But he inquired and alleged to have bought me a ticket, gave me a booking number, but I needed the email or phone number associated with the booking. A lack for pity. Perhaps I am mad as a loon, but he is caught up about my writing. I know he cares for me, and I am grateful. I also yelled at Willow extensively, reminded everyone how she infects my dreams every time Not most of the time, every fucking time, with malevolent visions of cruelty. I lamented how, while sleeping on the bus, she came and was kicking my bag and calling it, my writing, a piece of shit. And the general attitude expressed as pure disdain and resentment. I screamed, I gave you every fucking chance. And since she's only interested in petty mind games, fine, game on, witch. Every time that bitch opens her legs, I'm blasting her. I raged for minutes on end, sojourning back to the bus stop. And I was reminded by Clay that I shouldn't yell and scream because I have to sing something. And I want to believe that. That's why I'm here. But Willow grates on my psyche like an ungreased gear, metal on metal, abrasive and destructive. It fucking stokes my ire. And while I know she gets some perverse joy out of being an antagonistic force in my life, she alleges she has done and wants to reconcile. Annabella tells her, you have to go on the 30th, put yourself in front of him, and beg for forgiveness. We're all coming to understand this curse a little better each day. And I personally am coming to understand and control this psychic power I wield a little more holistically with each passing day, hour, minute, second. I would guess it has always been there, though it took writing to unlock it, and Willow to open the door and allow me to walk over the threshold, which I would guess she regrets. She says no, that she loves me. Both Alistair and Clay, in my rhapsody, both allege they're happy over how it went down, because it brought us all together. It is a nice thought. You're fucked. I did my best to help Lisa see I care for her and love her and am devoted to her just as much and more than Willow currently, that is. She is beautiful to me, not ugly. It feels she has a great loathing in her as well. I'll do all I can to see her happy. I want to be good to her. I know together we can make each other better. My heart breaks as she thanks me and assures me she's not running from me like Willow, that I come and hold her and we'll be together. Pure confusion. Willow laments daily how she only has to share me because she fucked everything up. And she's right. All she had to do was, bitch, be cool. And everything would be fine and she would have all of me. However, it is better now, as far as epic legendary shit, which would not have occurred otherwise. And I wouldn't have Lisa and maybe Hazel. I'll say that Lisa's sister Dell is now aware of me and has been thinking of me today, which I know stokes Lisa's ire. I told her she can be selfish. I understand. That makes her not want to be. But it is weird, to say the least. And despite Lisa's jealousy, I'm sure she is at best only as beautiful as Lisa. She is too hard on herself. We have that in common. I'm sure Dell is very charming, and I look forward to being cordial if and when we meet in the coming weeks and months. I thought of Hazel fantasizing about me while fucking her boyfriend, and I admit, was pretty fucking hot earlier while walking. Alistair commented, it was wild, and we both make jokes about how I got the message, but the other guy didn't. That sucks, I'm sure. Internal, external strife. It becomes two separate conditions. Bifurcation. If ever he should be made aware, like, say, if he were to read this book. Pretty funny, if humiliating. A woman humiliating a man. The great cycle of life grinds forward. I just thought of Anna from Mondegreen. She's great and beautiful. I would guess she is thinking about me as well, though perhaps not. I just had the observation that I feel that it is an even split, 50-50, where half of the time it is simply the kaleidoscopic turning of the table of my memory, the other half being quantum entanglement, where I recall because the other party is considering me or materials I submitted. Maybe a witch's coven really is unavoidable, fuck me. Sitting in the other homeless daycare, the bus stop, I considered my options. Really, I have none, when I could ask Hazel or attempt to contact my family, but really it feels quite bleak and perilous how isolated and desperate I am. While taking a break from writing and smoking the whole, if crusty and dirty, cigarette I found outside the entrance to the bus station, Willow tells me, I want to be good to you too, I'm sorry, you have to forgive me. To which I said, I don't have to do anything. And I assume she is upset, as am I. Yes, Ethan, she says, I am upset, and I know you can hear me. I know you can hear me. She did it to herself, the cruelest witch of them all, and so is encumbered with the highest degree of separation from my heart. Now we're both crying. 18 minutes to perfection. 12:18. Willow laments and asks what she can do. They, Alistair, I believe, tell her that she can buy me a bus ticket and text me all the information I need. And while it is in no way a fast track to my good graces, she has already destroyed all of those paths. It will mean something and be a loving gesture. I'm sure she won't. She's a fucking coward and doesn't want me to have her number. Though she could send it from a restricted number and achieve the desired result. And yes, sure, I don't like the idea of Willow being upset either. But she has hurt me, I see now. So clear, every step of the way. And so I have to be aloof and cruel, because this is the standard she has set for us. Please, she says, don't hate me. Please, love me like you used to, please. She has no right whatsoever. And when I look back on all those special moments we shared, by her design, they have been reduced to adolescent machinations of cruelty. Don't say it, she says. Don't say it was pointless. I don't know what I'm going to do or what I can do. I guess I'll take a break at Page's End and rest my body and mind as best as I am able for a time. So I'll stop there. Right. So it's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino on the psychic frontier, right? Everything that you just read was all bullshit, right? So Eliza is Lisa, Dell is her sister, Bella, right? These are trying to say she has daughters, right? Why did Quentin Tarantino, right, lead me to believe that he had a daughter, right? That wanted my baby, that loved me and wanted my baby. Of course, I can't honestly say, right, that I am like I'm reaching in some way, right, for a pair of reachy kisses, right? But I suspect it has something to do with, you know, his direction, right? That he directs the women in his life, right, to do things to the men in his life as much or as little as he wants, right? And so when I didn't give him what he wanted, right, he said, okay, right, this guy doesn't want to, right, I want you, right? I believe there's two women involved, right, Danielle and one other, right? I want you two, right, to make him fall in love, right, to humiliate him, right? And so, right, like what I'm saying is that's like these are the games that he likes to play, right? And so if you play them by his rules, right, then you can be Eskimo bros, right? But since I didn't play by his rules, right, it was all a sick, sadistic game to humiliate me, right? That he would have never, right, and to be clear, he would have never come clean, right? His agency is obviously pathological and immoral. William Morris Endeavor has no ethical standards at all, right? That if the only reason he came clean to me, right, is because I revealed myself, right, is because I turned it all on him, right, that's the only reason, right, that he would have let me believe, right, that there's some mysterious girl that is like hidden from the public, right? And so again, right, like I'm speculating, but I'm almost sure that it's something, right? I stole all of his secrets, just like he stole all of mine, right? That it's something about directing. It's like his mind. It's like mind bullshit, you know. So I'm gonna sing a song, recite some Shakespeare, and I suppose I'll be done. I'll play that one next time. passing judgment, tumble them down around my visions of the future. So tell me what's wrong, and all the things you fear. Our limits are self-imposed. For my sake, I hope you can understand why. For my sake, I hope you can understand why. I have been studying how to compare this prison where I live onto the world. And because the world is populous, and here is not a creature but myself, I cannot do it. Yet, I'll hammer it out. My brain I'll prove the female to my soul the father. And these two beget a generation of still breeding thoughts. And these same thoughts people this little world in humors like the people of this world. For no thought is contented. The better sort, as thoughts of things divine, are intermixed with scruples and do set the faith itself against the faith. As thus, come little ones, and then again, it is as hard to come as for a camel to thread the postern of a needle's eye. Thoughts tending to ambition. They do plot unlikely wonders. How these vain weak nails may tear a passage through the flinty ribs of this hard world, my ragged prison walls. And for they cannot die in their own pride. Thoughts tending to content, flatter themselves that they are not the first of fortune's slaves, nor shall not be the last, like silly beggars, who sitting in the stocks refuge their shame, that many have and others must sit there. And in this thought they find a kind of ease, bearing their own misfortunes on the backs of such as have before endured the like. Thus play I in one prison many people, and none contented. Sometimes my king, then treason makes me wish myself a beggar, and so I am. Then crushing penury persuades me I was better when a king. Then am I kinged again, and by think that I am unkinged by Bolingbroke and straight of nothing. But whate'er I am, nor I nor any man, that but man is, with nothing shall be pleased, till he be eased with being nothing. Music do I hear. Keep time, how sour sweet music is, when time is broken, no proportion kept. And here have I the daintiness of ear to hear time broken a disordered string. But for the concord of my state and time, had not an ear to hear my true time broke. I wasted time. And now doth time waste me, or now hath time made me his numbering clock. My thoughts are minutes, and with sighs they jar. Their watches on unto mine eye as the outward watch, whereto my finger like a guileless point, is pointing still and cleansing them from tears. Now, sir, the sound that tells what hour it is are clamorous groans that strike upon my heart, which is the bell. So sighs and tears and groans show minutes, hours, and times. But my time runs posting on in Bolingbroke's proud joy, while I stand fooling here, his jack of the clock. This music mads me. Let it sound no more. For though it have hope maddened into their wits, in me it seems it will make wise men mad. But blessing on his heart that gives it me, for 'tis a sign of love, and love to Richard is a strange brooch in this all-hating world. See what's good in your life. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Know that life is not an accident. Uplift your soul to God. All the best.